how's it going, everyone? So, been meaning to do this video for a while now. It's on Noto. For those of you who don't know what Noto is, it's a form of putting the sword back in its saya or scabbard. I see some people sometimes, like forums and whatnot, saying they have a difficult problem putting the sword back, which for beginners it can be, because you're not supposed to look when you put it back. You're supposed to always stay focused on your opponent, or your imaginary opponent is what you have in the Ido. So, but if you're taking classes and you've taken more than just a couple, like let's say you've been taking it for a year, doing Noto shouldn't be difficult anymore for someone. And I always hear sometimes, oh, I've been doing it for this long, but I got this new sword, so it's kind of difficult. It shouldn't be difficult, because katanas are pretty much basically almost all made the same for the most part. So it shouldn't be a difficult thing to do if you've been doing it for like 6 months to a year. It should be like second nature. There are some caveats to that though. Like a katana, okay, like this one, is 27.5 inches long, maybe almost 28. Now, some pages say, well, it should go a little bit past your ankle. Well, that doesn't tell you if you're going to be able to draw the sword or not, because katanas are supposed to be made to your body style, and there's for a reason for that. If the blade is too long, one, you're going to have difficulty drawing the blade. Two, it's going to take too long to draw it. So I have told people this: the best way to know if the blade length is correct for you with a katana is measure from your middle finger to the top of your shoulder right here. Mine is a little over 27.5 inches long, which works with both these blades. You'll notice that most katanas nowadays are 27.5 to 28 inches long. Because on average for, like, I'm going to say a male, you should be able to draw that no problem and put it back. Women's arm lengths vary. Like my wife's is not quite, I think like a 26-inch blade would work way better for her, because she's under that 27.5, which would be expected. You know, women's arms naturally, most of the time, are not as long as men's arms. Okay, so that right there is the best way to know if the blade length is correct for you. Okay, you should be able to draw it and put it back, no problem. There's a kind of, I'm going to say, a misconception that in certain time periods they made the blades longer. Okay, that's true and not true. You're getting into tachis. Tachis had like a 32-inch long blade. There was a reason for that. They were on horseback. So you have to be able to strike down at your enemy, okay, when you're sitting on a horse. So the blade needs to be longer. But if you're on foot, it takes a little bit more to draw the sword. Of course, with the tachi, it hung off the belt, so you could really just, you know, move it out of your way if you have to. When it sits inside an obi belt like this is, right here, this is an obi belt, it's a little different. Yes, I know I'm not supposed to look, but my obi belt is being complicated today for some reason. And I don't know why. There we go. Okay. So it sits more on your hip. Okay, so it's not on hanging off a belt. Kind of like a frog for European. They would have a frog. But the swords sit at a 45. This sits parallel. Okay. So it's a little different drawing the sword. So if this sword is way too long for your arm length, it's going to be a lot harder to draw it. So get a blade that is no longer than your arm. That's the best way to measure. If it's 27 and a half, you can still do 28. It's only a half inch is more, and that shouldn't affect it that drastically. Now I got two swords here. I got this one, and I got my Sea Wave. There's two differences to these. This is a live edge. This is a dull edge. So I can run my hand all up and down this thing, and I'm not going to get cut. That is one of the most important things to practicing with the sword. Use, and I can't stress this enough, this is my personal preference, use a dull edge blade. Especially if you're learning a new move. Use an unsharpened blade. Do not use a live edge. You're asking for trouble. Seriously. That's my personal opinion. I think schools here in the States that allow you to use a live edge, they shouldn't be, because accidents happen all the time, and you always get new students who come in, don't know what they're doing. Accidents happen, and it doesn't take much for any type of sword to do a lot of damage very, very quickly. So, as you saw, moving your body to do Noto is so extremely important. Just like if you're going to draw the sword. Like I've said in my other videos, you don't stay square. With any type of swordsmanship, you don't keep your body squared up. You always turn your upper body. Always, always, always. So, that way it's a harder target to hit. If I'm like this all the time, I'm an easier target. And yeah, you can hit me a lot easier. My shoulders are here, my chest. But if I turn, and I can turn my body as much as I have to move out of the way. That's where stretching is very important. But to put it away, you just kind of make a mouth on the blade or around the saya to put it back. And then, as always, pinch the blade with your forefinger and your thumb, run it down until it drops in. Now, if you look, let's see if I can't get that in there. My hand is nowhere near that, and it just slides right back down in. I don't have to look. I can do this with every single blade I have, even my Nagamaki, and that's got a 15.5-inch long handle on it. Been hitting this table, unfortunately, but you should be able to quickly draw it, bring the saya up, and that's another thing. You gotta move your body in tandem along with your hands. So if I draw the sword, this, and my body is doing all the work. Now if I get the saya, I pull it forward to me, put it up there, run it between my fingers, and put it back. It's even if you have the blade backwards. So let's say, take it, turn it this way. I'm going to turn my saya, put it there, run it down, pick it up, put it away. Best thing you do is just practice Noto at home over and over and over and over. It's like a reverse grip draw. A lot of people have seen my short on that, some of my cutting videos. where basically you're taking the blade, some moves you are squared up, but you take it and you flip it. I don't advise anybody who's never done it to do it, because you're literally pinching the blade of the handle like so. So you got to make sure you have a good grip when you draw. All the time. Now, I said I can do this with all my swords, just so you can see I'm not BSing here. We'll use the C wave. Again, turn the body, grab the saya, and put it back, and lock it back into place. So, yeah, if you're having difficulties doing Noto, you need to practice it all the time. But don't say because it's a new sword. Because, like I said, if you're having that much difficulty, the blade length is way too long for you. In fact, let me do Noto with my nagamaki. So, here's my nagamaki. It means long wrapping. I know people say, that's not a nagamaki, it's not 36 inches long. There's no such standard to the nagamaki, and they used to cut the handles down during the Edo period. But with this being such a long handle, and with the nagamaki, your hands stay separate, you don't move them. That way you keep that leverage. But again, there you go. The only thing you would have to look to put it away is if you're using a nodachi, which a nodachi is really not made for a belt like this. They would tie them on their back, and before battle they would take the sai off and just go from there. But yeah, that's the only time. Some schools do have you, if you're having difficulties drawing the sword, they do have you use the nodachi. That's not sharpened, it's dull, so you get used to drawing. And yes, they get pretty long. 35, 36, some are 40 inches long blades. So if you can finally draw that thing out, you can draw one of these easily. But I hope this is informative to all of you. Like I said, blade length shouldn't be any longer than your arm. Maybe a ½ inch. Don't use a live edge, especially if you're a beginner. Do not use a live edge. You can get, like this one right here, it's a 1060 blade. I ordered it from Hanbon. Not sharp, as you all saw. And, let me get that in there. The tip is rounded off. And yes, you can request that feature. 90 bucks. 100 bucks. Off of Hanbon. Yeah, like I said, I gotta run my hand up and down this all day long. Never get hurt. I have another one, it's from Makato. Had an edge on it, and I just took, you could do this too, just take a file and run it up and down this edge, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then round off the tip. And that Makato blade was only 60-70 bucks. It's a 1045 blade. So if you're a beginner, definitely use an unsharpened blade. Don't use a live edge, because people say, well, I use a live edge so I don't get bad habits. It's like I always hear from people that have firearms. If it's unloaded, think of it as loaded. Same with the sword. If it's dull, think it's sharp. All the time. All the time. My number one thing is always safety, if possible. And I've been cut and had to have stitches. So, because accidents happen. Just like I have potentially a new source where we finally get these short films made, and I have to train whoever is going to do it to use a dull sword on what we're going to do. So safety is the number one thing. So I hope this is informative for those of you who are getting involved into swords, especially Japanese swords. How Noto works. You just have to be really mindful and just practice it, and you'll get it down. It doesn't take long to get Noto down. What takes a while is the feel and the movement and knowing when it drops in. The tip drops into the side. That's it. That's all there is to it. So, y'all have a great Sunday, and we will see you on the next one.